I found someone new. I'm going to live with her, so I'm getting a divorce. You can go back to your parents' house. I don't understand why you're acting this way. I don't need you anymore. If you want, I can leave you with my parents to take care of. Whether you want to be a breadwinner or a housekeeper doesn't matter anymore. Kai couldn't comprehend what was happening. My name is Kai, and I'm a 30-year-old marketing manager. I've spent my whole life working. After finishing university, I joined a big company, and over the course of a decade, I worked hard and earned the qualifications to move up the ladder. Now, I'm a department head at a young age. I'm fortunate to have a boss who always has valuable advice and a team of talented, driven subordinates. I was satisfied with my career, but my personal life, that was a different story. I had a boyfriend once when I was in school, but none after I began working. Worried about being alone, a friend invited me to a dinner, where I met Lucas. He was kind, had a pleasant smile, and seemed very approachable. Since we were both the same age, we had a lot in common, and our conversations flowed easily. We quickly became friends, exchanging contact information and meeting up for meals. After some time, he confessed his feelings for me, and we started dating. Things went well, and eventually he proposed. We got married, and I was so thrilled to marry the man I loved. Soon after, I went to meet his parents. His family welcomed me warmly. "Hi, I'm Emma. It's so nice to meet you. I can't believe someone so beautiful is going to marry our Lucas," his mother said, tears welling up in her eyes. "I'm so proud of my son for bringing such a wonderful woman into our family." "Mom, please, you're embarrassing her," Lucas laughed, but his mom just smiled. "No, it's true. It's a compliment," she said, wiping her tears. His parents were very kind and easy to talk to, just like him. "So, Kai works for a big company, right?" his father asked. "Yes, I do," I replied. "That's wonderful. It's nice to see a woman working so hard," he said. "Will you quit your job after the wedding?" "No, I plan to continue working." "That's good," his mother said, sounding relieved. "You've got a great job, so it's better that way." I felt fortunate. From what my friends had told me, many of them had been urged by their mother-in-laws to quit their jobs. They often heard that it was a wife's duty to support her husband. I thought to myself how generous my future mother-in-law was to be so understanding. After greeting my parents, we got married. My heart was filled with excitement as I thought about the new chapter in my life. We moved into the house I was living in and started our married life together. I was so happy to be with Lucas, my husband, and I cherished every moment. It was a joy to spend time with him at home, whether it was when we both were home or when he came back after work. 6 months into our marriage, Lucas told me he wanted to discuss something important. "If you don't mind, I'd like us to live with my parents." "Live with them? What do you mean?" I asked. "They're getting older and I'm worried about them," he explained. "I understand," I said. "My parents are about the same age as yours, and my brother and his wife live with them right now, so I get it. So, there's nothing for me to worry about," I thought. However, since Liam is an only child, it made sense for him to be concerned about his parents. "Does this mean we'll be living with your parents?" I asked. "Yes," he replied. "But their house doesn't have enough room for us at the moment. Every room is already in use for one reason or another." I guessed. "Exactly," he said. I was thinking, what if we renovate their house to make it a two-family home? "A two-family home?" I repeated. "Yes. It would be much cheaper than buying a new house. We could have a beautiful, spacious home and still maintain our privacy." I thought about it. The idea sounded appealing. His parents were kind people, and if the house were split into 2 sections, it wouldn't feel intrusive. "That sounds good to me," I said. "Really? Thank you. Mom and Dad will be thrilled," Liam said, his face lighting up. Later, his parents visited us and expressed their gratitude. Seeing how cheerful and kind they were, I felt reassured. I thought to myself, even if we live under one roof, this won't be so bad. Soon, Liam and I started discussing the remodeling plans. The estimated cost was around $115,000. While we were going over the details, Liam hesitated before saying, "Actually, I need to ask you for a favor." "What is it?" I asked. "Could you cover the entire cost of the renovation?" I was taken aback. "What?"
Why?
Liam looked uncomfortable. The truth is, we're in debt. I stared at him in shock. Neither he nor his parents had ever mentioned this before, not while we were dating, nor after we got married. How much debts? I asked cautiously. About $170,000, he admitted. What? I exclaimed. I had assumed it might be a few $1,000s, but this amount left me speechless. It wasn't so bad at first, but it kept growing, he explained. My parents rely on their pension now, and I don't earn enough to make significant payments. The debt keeps piling up. I struggled to process the information. How could they keep this from me? Noelle, he said, using my name softly. I know this is a lot to ask, but could you help pay off the debt? My parents can't handle it anymore, and I want to take care of them. I also want to protect you. I love you, and my family equally. Please, if you love me, help me through this. I promise I'll pay you back, bit by bit. His words tugged at my heart. I knew Liam loved me, but I also felt trapped. My emotions clouded my judgment, and I agreed. Okay, I said reluctantly. Thank you so much, he said, shaking my hand in gratitude. He informed his parents, who later visited us to apologize and express their thanks. His mother even cried tears of joy, saying, "We're so lucky to have you, Noelle." I decided to use $335,000 from my savings to cover part of the remodeling and the debt. For the remaining amount, I arranged to pay in installments. When we discussed the repayment process, Liam suggested something that surprised me. Why don't you transfer the money directly to the debt account? He asked. My parents aren't great with money management, and it'd be safer this way. His parents nodded in agreement, adding, "It's better for everyone if the process is straightforward." Although it would be time-consuming for me to handle the transactions myself, I decided to manage it directly to ensure everything was handled properly. Once everything was settled and the money was transferred, my in-laws seemed relieved. Now we don't have to worry about those scary debt collectors anymore, Liam's father said. You should thank Noelle properly, Liam added, looking at them. I can't express how grateful we are, Noelle. Thank you so much, his mother said, her eyes filled with tears of gratitude. I'm so happy that someone like you is going to be my son's wife. I smiled, feeling pleased that they were so happy. But at the same time, I couldn't shake the discomfort that came from their words. It was as if they were seeing me as nothing more than a solution to their financial problems. Still, I loved Liam and I wanted to support his family. With that in mind, I began making the payments and we continued remodeling the house, turning it into a two-family home. It was a beautiful and spacious house, and my in-laws were very happy. Liam's eyes lit up when he saw the new house. I, too, enjoyed the new kitchen and loved cooking in it. It felt good to have the remodeling completed. The house was more convenient, and the shorter commute allowed me to have more free time, which I decided to use wisely by studying in my spare moments. I spent the following year working hard to pay off the debt. However, there was one thing that bothered me deeply. Liam had not contributed a single cent toward the debt repayment. When I first heard about the debt, Liam had promised that he would help. Yet, there was no sign of him paying anything from his salary. Every time I asked about it, he insisted that his salary was not enough to make a difference. Curious about how much he earned, I asked him for his pay stubs, but he refused to show them to me. I had no idea how much money he made, but I knew he needed to contribute if we were going to pay off the debt together. After a year, my parents-in-law asked me how much was left to pay off. Well, after a year of hard work, I've paid off about $40,000, I told them. That leaves around $100,000 left to repay. Their eyes widened in surprise. You've paid off that much? That's incredible, they exclaimed. At this pace, you'll be done in about 3 years. I felt proud of the progress we had made, and my parents-in-law were genuinely moved, crying tears of happiness. However, a few days later, something unexpected happened. I had to work overtime that evening and informed Liam that I would be home late. But as things went surprisingly smoothly at work, I managed to leave on time and hurried home to prepare dinner for Liam. When I opened the front door, I saw my in-laws' shoes near the entrance. Why are they here? I wondered, thinking they must have had something important to discuss. As I walked toward the living room, I overheard my in-laws and Liam talking. You really made a great choice marrying her, didn't you, William? His father said. I can't believe you landed a woman with so much money. Yeah, she works for a big company, doesn't she? Liam's mother chimed in. I was careful at first, but I think you really hit the jackpot with her. You should be more grateful, his father continued. Liam laughed. She's doing all the heavy lifting with the money. I'm going to throw her away once she's paid off the debt. My heart sank. I stood frozen in shock, unable to move from the door. After a long moment, I finally managed to slam the door and lock it. I'm home, I said, my voice shaking with disbelief. When I walked into the living room, my parents-in-law and Liam greeted me with smiles. Noelle, welcome home.
Good job.
Good job, his father said enthusiastically. Well then, let's go back to our room. Let's have dinner together soon, his mother added with a smile. I was afraid of those gentle smiles. I had just overheard their conversation, and now they were pretending to be the loving, grateful parents. And Liam, with his smile, was no different. He was acting like the perfect husband, but I couldn't shake the shock I felt from their words. It was as if all my efforts to pay off their debt meant nothing. Didn't you say you had to work late today? Liam asked, seemingly unaware of my inner turmoil. Yes, I had to stay longer than expected. But I decided to hurry home and cook dinner for us, I replied, trying to maintain my composure. I worked hard to act calm until dinner, not wanting Liam to realize I knew what had been said. But once he went to take a bath, I couldn't hold back any longer. I stayed in my room and cried. I cried harder than I ever had before, a mixture of anger, betrayal, and hurt. The tears were painful, but they gave me the clarity I needed. I knew what I had to do. I would prepare for the divorce. For the next 3 months, I pretended to be happy and kept up the facade. I even told Liam that I had paid off his parents' debt. Wait, you paid off the debt? The $155,000? That was supposed to take around 3 years, he said, looking surprised. Actually, I have quite a bit of savings, I explained calmly. I was afraid to pay it all at once, so I started taking a bit from my salary and savings. But we were already under $105,000, so I decided it was better to pay it off in one go. I see. Liam responded, but I could tell he was eager to see the results. I asked, do you mind if I show you my bank book? I handed him the bank book, and his face lit up. Wow, Noelle, you really did it. $95,000 paid in full, he said, barely containing his excitement. I know, right? My parents are going to love this, he continued, his voice feigning gratitude, but I could see through the act. Soon after, my parents-in-law came to thank me, all smiles and gratitude. Noelle, thank you so much. You're like a god to us, his mother said, tears streaming down her face. I'm so glad you married William. If I hadn't already known what they were really like, I might have been happy to receive their thanks. But I wasn't fooled anymore. I had seen through them, and I knew I had to carry out my plan. A few days later, Liam called me to talk. His expression was serious, and I could tell something was coming. I'm sorry, Noelle, but you have to leave me, Liam said, his voice strangely cold.
What?
What do you mean? I acted surprised, though I already had an idea of where this was going. I have a new girlfriend. I'm going to live with her, so I'm divorcing you, he said bluntly. You'll have to go live with my parents. I was taken aback by his directness. I had suspected this moment would come once he paid off his debts, but I never expected him to be so upfront about his infidelity. Wait, I don't understand. You want me to go live with your parents after you leave me? I asked, genuinely confused. Liam's mood shifted. You don't understand at all, do you? I don't need you anymore. I can keep you here, but you'll have to be a breadwinner or a housekeeper. It's your choice. Just then, the front door opened and my in-laws walked in. William, did you finally tell her? His father asked. Yeah, I told her, Liam replied, as if nothing had changed. I stood there, stunned. What do you mean, come to her house? What's going on? My in-laws smiled as they spoke. If you do the chores for us, you can stay in our house. But of course, we'll charge you rent. They all laughed. I felt a rush of anger, but kept my composure. No, that's not going to work anymore. You all need to leave." They froze, eyes widening. "What do you mean?" my mother-in-law asked, her voice suddenly faltering. "Don't you remember? I paid for the renovations. I changed the name of the house to mine," I said, my voice steady. "That means I have the rights to this house. I decide who stays and who goes." The color drained from my in-laws' faces as they realized what I was saying. They had completely forgotten about the title change, and now they were facing the consequences. "I'm sorry, but you can't live here anymore," I said, the words coming out with finality. "Once we get divorced, we'll be strangers." My in-laws' faces turned pale, realizing the gravity of the situation. But my husband, unwilling to be outdone by me, shot back, "But you took over our debt and paid it in full. You're the one who's losing money. If we had no debt, we could at least afford a new place to live." "That's true," I said, trying to keep my voice calm, "but I didn't pay off the rest of the $95,000 debt." "What?" "No," he exclaimed, looking confused. "But I saw the money missing from your bank book." "That was from a separate account I created and moved funds around in," I explained. "The debt hasn't changed. It's still the same $95,000. I just haven't had the collections come in yet because I've been making large payments continuously. But I think it's time for them to come. So, you'll be responsible for paying the rest." My husband and in-laws went silent, staring at me. Then, I added with a firm tone, "William, you told me you were having an affair. You should pay the alimony, and I'll be charging your partner for it, too." He looked panicked. "Oh no. She went out with me because of the house and my money. If they charge me alimony, she'll dump me. I don't care about any of that." I could see the desperation in his eyes. "No, please don't leave us," he begged. I looked at him coldly. "I have nothing to do with you people anymore, no matter what you say. I've already put this house on the market, and I will have you pay the $65,000 debt I paid for you through my lawyer." The in-laws froze, stunned by the sudden loss of everything they had. I then demanded a divorce and alimony from my husband through my lawyer. I also demanded alimony from his affair partner. From my in-laws, I asked for $65,000 in repayment for what I had paid on their behalf. The house, which had been renovated, sold for about $205,000. It was in a prime location, and a family looking for a duplex bought it at a good price. This meant I received $165,000 after covering the $65,000 I owed and the $105,000 renovation cost. So, I had paid $165,000 but ended up gaining $45,000 from the sale. On top of that, I would receive alimony from my ex-husband and his affair partner, which was a great outcome. I was also able to secure a small payment of $65,000 from my former in-laws. In the end, I was the biggest beneficiary of this entire situation. My former in-laws were left with nothing, back in debt, and losing their house. To be honest, I believed they deserved it. They had deceived and taken advantage of me, and people like that should face the consequences. I've learned to be more cautious and trust my instincts. Looking back on this experience, I realized that I need to develop a sharper eye for people moving forward. I will continue saving and investing so I can live a comfortable, luxurious life in my old age. And most importantly, I want to create many happy memories with people I can truly trust.